everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. 27 points, 5 rebounds. Welcome to Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, D. Broussard. And first things first, man, before I get started, like always, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, the all-new Pelicans Flock Report. Shout out to everybody that's already subscribed, man. I really appreciate y'all. And as long as y'all keep subscribing, I'm going to keep on bringing y'all this content, man. The development of Jeremiah Fears will define the Pelicans' future. Now, of course, here just recently, we've seen pictures of Jeremiah Fears working out with God Shamgar, the new assistant head coach underneath Jamahl Mosley. Now, God Shamgar has a huge reputation for developing young guards. He developed Luka Doncic. He developed Kyrie Irving. He's worked with a lot of elite point guards in the NBA these last couple of years. And I feel like God Shamgar was definitely a great assistant coach to bring in to our organization to help develop these young players, a guy like Jeremiah Fears. And also, we seen, Jeremiah Fears in the weight room starting to develop his body, get a little bit stronger, get a little bit bulkier. And that's what we need from him. This offseason, we definitely see him putting in the work and working on his game to continue to get better. Now, obviously, we already know that Jeremiah Fears is an elite shot creator for his age. Being so young, he's already shown that he's an elite, that he is elite at shot creation. And also, he's definitely a natural playmaker who can create offense for himself and his teammates. And his ceiling is very, very high to become the future lead guard for the Pelicans. Now, the main thing that I feel like Jeremiah Fears have to develop is adjusting to the NBA speed. And I feel like that's always a big challenge for young guards coming into the NBA, is adjusting to the speed of the NBA. Obviously, making the transition from college to the NBA is always a difficult one because the NBA is a lot more faster pace. Of course, the game is, high speed offenses and things of that nature. So I feel like that's always going to be the biggest challenge for a young guard coming into the NBA. And I feel like he's definitely going to have to learn how to make decisions a lot quicker, uh, especially against elite defenders. And we saw that a lot with Jeremiah Fears this past season. We saw him turn the ball over. I wouldn't say a lot, but he definitely wasn't as consistent as he's gonna need to be um, going forward this past season. You know, um, but I feel like he cleaned it up a lot um, in the second half of the season. And I feel like that's one of the things he's going to have to continue to work on is, making faster decisions with the basketball. Now, of course, reducing turnovers uh, and also maintaining aggressiveness, throughout the game. That's one of the things that I definitely feel he's going to have to work on uh, when adjusting to the NBA speed. Now, the big question mark for Jeremiah Fears is, can he become the point guard of the future? I obviously feel like Jeremiah Fears is the point guard of the future. I feel like this past season as a rookie, he definitely showed that he has the potential to become the point guard of the future. And um, I feel like he is the point guard of the future, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion. I know that, we have DeJounte Murray currently right now, but I feel like we're currently in the same position as the San Antonio Spurs, where you have a veteran guard, uh, I would say a max contract guy as your veteran guard, starting point guard, but you have a younger point guard that's starting to make some noise and starting to kind of scratch the surface. And it's kind of like, when will you make that decision to move forward with handing that young guy the keys to, to the franchise? So I feel like the Pelicans have been searching for a lead guard for a long period of time, and I feel like Fears has the talent to fill that role. Now, development at the position could definitely shape the franchise's future. So I feel like Jeremiah Fears is definitely the future of the New Orleans Pelicans at this point. I feel like he's definitely proven and shown that this past season. Um, and obviously, of course, he's definitely going to have to continue to improve his outside shot. Um, he's definitely starting to improve his outside shot. He got a little bit better the second half of the season, but I feel like that's, of course, something he's going to have to definitely continue to improve. Consistency at the 3-point shot could definitely unlock his game, and defenses will definitely start playing him differently if he becomes a reliable shooter. Um, and I feel like that's, of course, one of the most important areas of his growth is becoming a better 3-point shooter. Um, Learning under Jamahl Mosley, that's going to be huge going into this next season. Jamahl Mosley, first year, taking over the team as the all new head coach. And um, Jamal definitely has a good reputation for player development, especially when it comes to young players. I feel like he showed that a lot in Orlando, having young guys and developing them to become better players. And I feel like Jamal could definitely help Jeremiah Fears improve his decision making, and his defensive habits, because we all know that obviously Jamahl Mosley is going to focus more on defense. He's a defensive coach, and I feel like he's going to teach Jeremiah Fears to have better defensive habits um, throughout the season, next season. And of course, having an early relationship with the coaching staff is always going to be important for young players. And we kind of already see that happening, with Jeremiah Fears, um, working with God Sham God. So we see that the relationship is already starting to build and, you know, starting to develop um, with the players and this new coaching staff. So I feel like that's definitely a good thing going into next season. And obviously, you know, long term ceiling for Jeremiah Fears. The long term ceiling, in my opinion, I feel like potential starting point guard. I feel like I said earlier, at some point, the organization is going to have to make a decision on when it's time to hand the keys over to Jeremiah Fears. Like I said, we have DeJounte Murray, but I feel like at some point, we're going to have to make a decision to move on from DeJounte Murray and, get the keys to Jeremiah Fears. And, ultimately make him, a part of the core, you know, uh, one of the main guys, with that core of Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, Derek Queen, E. Missy, Jeremiah Fears is definitely ready at some point to become a part of that core, long term. So it's just, at this point, it's about when when are they gonna do it? Because it's definitely coming at some point. Um, but you know, uh, obviously, man, the draft is coming up this week. The Pelicans have been in the news a whole lot this past couple weeks with trades and things of that nature. Uh, it's been some talk about the Pelicans maybe trying to trade back into the first round. Obviously, we gave up our first round pick for Derek Queen, but um, it's been a lot of talk about the Pelicans trying to make their way back into the first round. So, we'll see what happens. Obviously, during draft time is when a lot of trades start happening. Teams start making moves to improve their rosters going forward into next season. So I'm kind of looking for the Pelicans to be probably one of the most aggressive teams this offseason, man. Especially with a new head coach. Um, you know, Of course, the roster needs to be reshaped. So, I'm looking for us to be real aggressive this offseason when it comes to trades and things of that nature. So, um, I'll definitely be paying attention to it and, see what we can do, man, because I feel like we're starting to trend upward, finally. I like I said before, I like the head coaching hire. I like the draft picks from last season, Fears Queen. So I feel like Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars have done a great job thus far, man. I gotta say it, man. I'm gonna continue to say it. I felt like a lot of people were um kind of questioning, the hire and things of that nature. But I feel like so far they've proven that um they have some huge plans to make this franchise uh better than what it's been in the past couple seasons. So, I'm looking forward to this off season, man. But yeah, man, like always, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, the All New Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. And as long as y'all keep subscribing, man, I'm gonna keep bringing y'all this content. Y'all let me know down in the comments, man, what you think about Jeremiah Fears. Is he ready to become the point guard of the future? Or do we need to start looking, or do we need to keep looking in a different direction when it comes to our point guard of the future, man? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Is Jeremiah Fears ready to become the point guard of the future for the New Orleans Pelicans? But that's it for me, man. That's all I got, man. Yeah, man, make sure you like and subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'm out, man.